things, as usual, they know what is expecting.
Bentura Kumbuka, KTN.
Now, opposition leaders and families of victims of Gen Z protests are vowing to keep the memory of those killed during anti-government protests alive. Speaking after a commemorative march to Parliament, they accused the government of frustrating efforts to honor the victims and renewed calls for justice and accountability. Fatma Chidagaya with more.
What was meant to be a solemn tribute at Parliament instead ended at the police barricades, with families of victims forced to lay flowers at the barriers after being denied access to the grounds where they intended to honor their loved ones. Opposition leaders and families of the Gen Z victims had assembled at Serena Hotel, where they planned to march to Parliament, where some victims died during the protest exactly 2 years ago.
As we were getting close to Parliament buildings, security, a police vehicle, very heavily armed, comes behind us with the sirens blaring, and they ordered us to leave immediately, to get out of the place. We nonetheless marched and got to where they had put a barricade where we could not go beyond to Parliament, and we laid flowers on that barricade.
The symbolic gesture setting the tone for a day that opposition leaders say was marked by restrictions rather than remembrance.
Having sent a policeman to Haiti, I would have thought that you would not want Kenya to be like Haiti. In Haiti, they created an alternative militia known as Tonton Makut. And here in Kenya, those that are in government led by the president are using goons to try and interfere with the peaceful demonstration.
The leaders accused the government of failing to stand with bereaved families and frustrating efforts to commemorate those killed during the 2024 anti-finance bill protests. They also claimed that the restrictions contradicted assurances that Kenyans would be allowed to mark the anniversary peacefully.
When the people say it will be a public holiday, they have the last say. And today it has turned out to be a public holiday.
And while leaders renewed calls for investigations and prosecutions, families of the victims insisted that accountability, not compensation, remains their overriding demand. The opposition now says it will continue marking June 25th annually, maintaining that the memory of those killed during the protests must remain alive until justice is delivered. Fatma Chidagaya, KTN.
Well, thanks, Fatma Chidagaya. That story leads us to a short commercial break right here.